The intervention by Humza Yusaf today, Scotland's former First Minister, against Keir Starmer is more than a partisan rebuke, it's a warning. Yusuf, the proud grandson of immigrants, claims that Britain stands on the brink of handing the keys of number 10 to Nigel Farage. And at the centre of this criticism lies a speech by Starmer in which he warned that the UK risks becoming an island of strangers. That phrase, island of strangers, has caused consternation, for its echoes, as Yusuf sees it, are uncomfortably reminiscent of Enoch Powell's Rivers of Blood address in 1968, and I think he's absolutely right. The problem is not about the rhetoric, I think. The problem is about the movement towards pandering to Farage. To pander to Farage is to make Farage's anti-immigration rhetoric realistic, to make it acceptable, so that Farage simply becomes the person who has set the tone. He's set the agenda in the same way as he set the agenda for Brexit. We should examine what he said. Starmer, in announcing a new set of immigration restrictions, included a 10-year wait for settled status, tougher English requirements, the end of overseas recruitment for care home workers, and he claimed that migration must be controlled or Britain risks social disintegration. He insisted this was a question of cohesion, not race, but critics, including Yusuf, accused him of cynical political triangulation. Triangulation is the new word, the buzzword, I believe. Yusuf argues that Starmer's language invoking strangers is not simply poor phrasing, but a catalogued, calculated dog whistle. He claims, a tactical shift to the right that flirts with Reform UK rhetoric in a desperate attempt to stymie a fall into Labour's polling. But that fall has already occurred. And the only way to get back the support that Labour once had is to move into Labour's base territory, not to move into Reform's territory. The same thing is true of the Conservatives. Yusuf can't necessarily speak for the Conservatives, but he should. Yusuf points to the immense contribution migrants make to British life. 35% of England's doctors are foreign-born. Over 10,000 care workers in Scotland have come from abroad. These people, he writes, keep Britain afloat, and he is right. The comparison to Enoch Powell's infamous speech is incendiary, but deliberate. Powell warned of cultural erosion and civil unrest in a multiracial Britain. His words have become a byword for bigotry dressed as prophecy. And while Starmer rejects any similarity, rightly noting his speech made no reference to ethnicity and praised migrants' contributions, the language of strangers has a chilling undertone. Yusuf is clear. Invoking the outsider is a classic populist move. It externalizes blame for internal decay. It is, to quote him, a modern echo, a dog whistle to voters who blame migrants for every social ill, from stretched public services to the cost of living crisis. And what is striking is Yusuf's charge that Labour has become comfortable embracing rhetoric once confined to the hardest edges of the Conservative Party and now central to Nigel Farage's Reform UK. He lambasts Anna Sawar, the Scottish Labour leader, for failing to call Starmer out for falling into line slavishly, he says, with Starmer's position, and suggests that under current rules neither his father nor Sawar's would have been admitted into the UK. This is not mere rhetorical flourishing. It's a lamentation, a Muslim former First Minister confronting the erasure of the very values that made his premiership possible. He recalls proudly that Britain once had a Hindu Prime Minister, a Muslim Mayor of London, and a Scottish Pakistani First Minister. That, he says, is a blueprint for other nations on how multiculturalism has been a success. Labour has dismissed Yusuf's criticism as desperate. A spokesperson for Sawar argues that it is perfectly possible to celebrate the positive impact of immigration while supporting a managed and controlled system. They also accuse Yusuf of hypocrisy pointing to his record in government, particularly his role in Scotland's struggling care sector. It's a classic manoeuvre, point to the accuser's own policy failures to blunt the sting of the criticism that he's levelling. But people who have made mistakes may still call out what is wrong now. It's a separate question from whether Starmer's language was appropriate or politically wise. And I think Yusaf is in a perfect position to make these points. I salute Yusaf. I have done on many an occasion. I do so now. In truth, Yusuf's intervention is powerful because it touches on something deeper than mere policy. It's about tone, identity, what sort of country Britain wishes to be. When politicians speak of strangers, they don't merely invoke difference, they define the boundaries of belonging, and that is where danger lies. If Labour, in its quest to win back disillusioned voters, allows itself to echo, however faintly, the rhetoric of division, it risks becoming the midwife to Farage's premiership, not the bulwark, not the defence. That's Yusuf's warning. Whether or not we agree with every word that Yusuf says, we would do well to heed the seriousness of the charge made by the former First Minister. Britain's greatness has never come from purity or insularity. It has always come from its capacity to welcome, to adapt, to thrive in diversity, with diversity. To forget that, especially for the sake of an electoral advantage, a cheap electoral advantage, it's just bad politics. No, it's more than that. It's bad history.